Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Presentation Hell Podcast. We are podcasting from Embark Studios here in Tampa, Florida. Today, I have the pleasure of Grace Wooley here. She is a account representative at WFLA.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me.
So it's good for you being here.
Yeah.
Tell the crowd who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Grace Wooley. I am an account executive at WFLA News Channel 8 here in Tampa, and I sell multimedia advertising. So anything from like linear TV, the news, when you click your TV on and go to Channel 8 to see what's going on in Tampa, all the way to streaming. So, people that have cut the cord and they're moving to all different sorts of media consumption, whether that be on phone, on tablets, or even on your TV. I sell that as well.
So when you say all these different media that you just told me, we all see it. I see it on my phone. I scroll through it. It's, on billboards. It's on the TV. They're actual ads. How do these packages break up? How do these sell? Do they sometimes I think my phone's listening to me and it calls me back. Or tell me a little bit about the ads that you sell.
Yeah. So depending on what your needs are as a client, so we can kind of tailor that specifically to you. So there's all different types of needs that someone might have. So whether someone needs people to pick up the phone and call, we can tailor certain ads like native ads where it like pops up in an article that you're reading, or we can do something where we retarget you. So you go to a competitor's website and then we retarget that customer back to you.
So it's very digital.
A lot of it is very digital. I would say the bulk of it is linear, but a lot of, the viewing habits are changing. So it's moving digital as well.
Explain the difference between linear and digital. What is it? Linear, is that just like traditional TV?
Traditional television, yeah. So like the news or, MTV or MTV. That was
40. It's 40 years old now.
That was the first one that came to mind. So anything NBC, ABC, whenever you have cable, you pay, or you have DirecTV down here, it's like Frontier, Spectrum.
It's a station. You choose a station and there's the news. You choose a station and there's Seinfeld and you turn, that's a football game.
Yes.
And it is what it is.
Yes.
That's linear.
That's linear. But we have certain pass-throughs. So people nowadays are quote unquote cutting the cord. So like YouTube TV and Hulu TV, we have a pass through on those networks. So if you watch WFLA on YouTube TV or Hulu TV, you're still watching the same station that say someone on cable is watching. We have a pass through. You're just watching it on a different platform. So pass through is
it's the concept of broadcasting through the air in yesteryear. It's just you're broadcasting in a way through these digital channels.
Yes, exactly.
And therefore we can get these stations live. But there's also support websites and different components that support of it. Is there like the shows that go into it? Let's say you're selling Emeril Lagasse. Is that hooked to his website that sells pots and pans and food to be delivered? Is it that deep?
No, so on that side, that would be something that they would handle on their own side. So, but in terms of like websites, so we have a website. We have WFLA.com. We're the #1 news website in the market. So we get like 14 million unique visitors in a month. So, but that's more of a collective. So people come there to see what's going on in the community for news, what's going on with the Bucks and sports. So that's a little more of a catch-all.
14 million people?
Unique visitors, yeah.
Unique visitors. And there's 2.5 million people in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah,
and
that's in a month.
That's in a month. So people are really looking at this from all over.
Yes, people are engaged. So especially, we have really good reporters and content writers. So if there's a story that is going on, like just this morning, I was watching the news, watching WFLA, of course, and there was a
NBC station, by the way.
NBC, yes. There was an officer that was hit by a car, 2 officers actually that were hit by a car. Well, that might be picked up nationally. So someone can Google search like,
oh, I see. That's why you got the thing. So someone typing Florida man, you get hit.
Yeah. So that'll come up in Google. So it's not
all right.
Tampa
I can see
residents.
why I know that. I was like 14 million people. The whole state is 22 million, and they're not all in Tampa. They're in Miami and West Palm and Pensacola and all around the place.
Oh yeah, and that's at different times. So like if you're an avid viewer of ours, you tune in, that's over the course of different times that you come to look, then that counts. So
you're an advertising representative. You're account executive.
Yes.
who specifically do you sell to? Is it local market? Are you going to like the local car dealers and furniture stores, or does it come through a syndicate? What's your day look like?
So there's two different ways that people buy advertising. So I work for Nexstar, which is our parent company. So they're a media group. So Nexstar has a really huge push for local direct business. So that's like your roofers, your car dealers. Those are people in our community that have, quote unquote, you could say small to medium businesses that want to advertise with us. So that's a huge push with my company.
Do you like go to the local car dealer with a laptop and do a
Yes.
presentation?
Yes.
Slides go by?
Yeah.
What do you use as slide software?
So I just use Microsoft like PowerPoint. Okay. That's typically what I use, and I build, and I've gotten much better at it because when I first started, I remember my digital manager looking at one of my PowerPoints and being like, "This is
there isn't
awful."
A slide library for you guys?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we have like a depot where we can go and like we have lots of resources in there. But for me, I'm kind of a control freak, so I like to build mine everything from scratch. So like I will use slides from that resource library, but I prefer more of a tailored approach.
Did you see that smile? It was a little mischievous.
Yes, absolutely. So that's my preferred method, but everybody's different. Some people have a shell that they use that they go to, and that's kind of the shell that they use for everything. But I feel personally that like every client has different needs. So whether it's a new direct client or if it's a client that's buying through an agency, it's different what they need. So I like to create and tailor a specific presentation and the actual products that I'm presenting specifically to that PowerPoint.
What's the most exciting campaign you ever sold?
Ooh, let me think about that. Maybe one that I'm selling right now. I'm working on a digital campaign right now that I think is it's really exciting because it's a franchise company.
I want more deets than it's a franchise company.
I can't give specific names.
Then do something earlier. I did this for XYZ Chevrolet and a balloon popped and everyone got soaked. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. So this one specifically, it's really cool because I was able to put together not only like a digital product for him, but also was able to like include him on some other initiatives that we have. So one thing that kind of differentiates us in the community as a TV station is our community outreach. So we have a lot of different programs and different events that we do throughout the year to really get our advertisers involved, not only with us, but with our community. So we have community people come out. Just one, for example, is Shredathon. So every year it's at Raymond James Stadium, which is really cool. Obviously, go Bucks. And people come out and they bring all their old paper and their old electronic devices, and we have a shredding company.
It's like a big recycling type of thing for paper and all sorts of goodies. It's exactly. Almost event driven.
It's event driven, a lot of events. And then we have the Bloom Health Expo, which was its first year was this year, 23. And our new promotions manager put it on, and it was a fabulous event. And we had, it was at the Bucks training facility. So we had Bucks cheerleaders there. We had Bucks personnel there. We had Martine Gramatica, who is a former Bucks kicker, kicked when they won the Super Bowl. So that was really cool. And then we had all of our vendors there, and we were able to have like our clients come out and interact with the community. It was open to the public, and people were able to get free screenings. So, we want to give back as much as we can. And that's like a way that we're able to do that other than just like spots and dots on air. So we do a lot
Spots
more.
And dots is just an ad, by the way.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. An ad. So just more than your basic television ad. Like we want to do
So you're putting together full events almost.
Yes.
And campaigns, and you bring the advertisers into it. And what's like, we're here in Tampa, and if someone wanted to reach you and they might have had, let's say, a small gelato shop.
Yeah.
Is there an avenue for them to benefit to coming to WFLA to
Absolutely.
Like, do you have something that could take care of a one shop ice cream place or something, or you don't have to be a 20 location car dealer?
Yeah, exactly. So with the 20 locations, so the way that broadcast television works is it works on a county DMA, what we call. So there's 10 counties that we host in our DMA. So you can't like say, I don't want Pasco or I don't want Hernando County. It doesn't work like that. So for like a one-stop shop, like small ice cream vendor, I would definitely recommend doing digital. Digital is a great play for them because it can be a lot more cost effective and we can really, really target.
How well do you target? Can you target me walking by and my phone rings and says, "Hey, ice cream on the corner, $5, $1 off"?
It's scary how well we can target. So it's very effective, and we can target just based off your interests. So things that you're searching.
Where do you get that interest from? Where do you get that information? How do you know my interests?
Because you're Googling it on your phone. You're
buying it from Google?
That's a question for the
like
higher ups.
well, who is like, if you know my profile, where are you getting that from? Where does that come from?
I am not sure.
I mean, because right now, Facebook, I'm sorry, but I'm speaking to Grace right now, and I'm going to get a friend request right after this. Like, I think a lot of people not worry, but they wonder about that. Like, could I go out and buy the profile of Kate, and then I know she likes, low top socks?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is scary. Like even this morning, I was talking to my mom before I left for work, and she had said, we were talking about pickleball, and she was like, I got served an ad for pickleball last night after we were talking about it. So that's a huge conversation now that it's like, are you going to be able to buy, like the hearing or like the AdWords and stuff like that. So that's not something that we currently do. I hope that it's something that we do in the future, because I think it's such an interesting and quite honestly crazy and invasive type of
if you think about it on just a nuts and bolts type of thing, I don't know if all of you, but I do this all the time. I talk into my text, hey, I'll be there in 2 minutes. The text comes up. What's the difference of it listening right now, taking those words and putting it through Google as I speak?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and I have a Google Home. So, and that's why, what's your opinion on Google Homes? Should I not?
No, it's everything's being listened to.
Yeah.
Everything, like in a way for convenience, we've given up all this privacy like when the whole internet thing started and stuff, people were like, no way I'm giving that information. No way I'll get in a car that I don't know anyone. No way you meet someone off the internet that you don't know. Now it's like, oh, the Uber driver pulled up. I don't know him, but I'm getting in the car. He's going to tell me my first name and know if I drink water or if I'd like to stop by. It's just so amazing at what we've become comfortable with that I personally think it's too much. I don't have one in my house, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
But I do, because my phone sits right next to my bed and it's already with you. Yeah. It's with me right now. It knows I'm sitting here with you, and because it's got proximity, and because we're sitting here talking and they hear the conversation, they're going to say, God, James and Grace know each other. Maybe if they're at the same place later on, we should say, hey, get a burger at this place, whatever it might be. Or Grace likes snowboarding. Maybe I should give James a snowboarding ad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you like snowboarding or not. I would just use that as a random example.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think like it's happened.
And you contribute
slowly
to it by selling it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do, absolutely. But I think it happens slowly. Like even just I'm 24, so I mean I've seen what I've even seen over my like kind of conscious adult life is a lot of change. So, I mean, my first phone was like, it didn't have internet and it was a little slide up. It was touchscreen, but it slid up and had a keyboard. And so like, yeah, I mean,
you were like a Paris Hilton sidekick type of chick.
Yeah, 100%. We're very tight. Yeah, 100%. So it's slowly but surely changed. And so I can't imagine like someone who has that's maybe in their, 50s or 60s that has seen like the change over, the course of 30 or 40 years.
Like when dial phones were out there, when, your remote control with the TV was getting hit on the head and you tell the kid to go change the channel.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is with like GPS, because I'm from outside of Atlanta and I moved down here about a year ago, and I can't imagine living down here without my GPS. Like
I'm going to ask a couple of questions here. Are basic knowledge things that other generations before us just outsourced to technology?
Absolutely.
Like being able to read a map. Who cares? I got my phone. Why do I have to read a map? Being able to calculate something when, can you do the math? You're not always going to have a calculator.
Yeah.
Well, everything's already calculated before you look at it. And if you think about what you just said, and I'll just bring this up once, is that when calculated started, it was kind of cool that numbers can be done really quickly on it. You put them out there, but the numbers got calculating so fast and so progressive that it got to a point where the numbers calculated so fast that I just put an image in front of you, which are all numbers behind it. And then when the images are going in front of you, you're now watching images, you're clicking on the web, you're going through it, you're navigating, it's coming back. Now the numbers are calculating so fast that they've created AI. AI is just numbers calculating into words and letters, which are changed to words and sentences and theories. And therefore, AI is merely using words to calculate against each other so that the knowledge base of words are just going to explode at the same rate that numbers did over the past 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was whacked out or not. I don't know if you went down that road.
I mean, I followed a little bit. I followed a little bit. I do.
All I'm saying is the growth of technology started with numbers and it multiplied very quickly. Now we're multiplying words against words with AI. Is the ideas and knowledge that comes from words, i.e. books and stuff, going to multiply that fast and that much faster? Knowledge and enlightenment or whatever.
You would know. You're AI.
I don't know. I ain't AI. I'm just trying to do it. This episode of Presentation Hell is brought to you by the book Presentation Hell. As I sit here with my good friend Grace, who works at WFLA, I'm going to read a statement from the back of my book from Mike Chico, Executive Vice President of NBC Universal Television Sales. With Ontra, we now have a presentation platform that matches the quality and programming and audience that the NBC television stations deliver. Presentations are core to your life. That's how you convince people. All presentations are a story. Every slide's a scene. You're an account executive over at the TV station here in Tampa. Now, a lot of people would love the number one TV station here in Tampa. And how big's your audience?
Well,
now that you said number one, I'm going to challenge that, but I want to get to something else. Okay. But just make that quick.
Okay. Well, we serve, so in our DMA and with Tampa quickly and fastly growing, we have about 1.5 people in our DMA. So our population's about 1.5.
1.5 people or
1.5 million people.
See what I mean?
Yes. And then per show, it differs. So we have a thing that we rate it on based off impressions, and each show gets a different amount of impressions.
You're doing it better than a lot of cable companies, by the way.
Absolutely.
They're kind of desperate.
Yeah.
So I think it's really like a goal. It's kind of a pinnacle to work for a TV station, especially, NBC Universal or any of the big ones. And I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, how did you get there? What was your story that led you to that point? Where did you come from? Where did you grow up? Why don't we start there?
I grew up actually outside of Atlanta. So like I said, I'm not from here originally. I grew up in a small town called Dallas, Georgia. I grew up my whole life there, had two wonderful parents. I'm one of 5 children.
Youngest, oldest, middle?
So I'm the second to youngest. So the 2 older ones, they're much older than me and my youngest sibling.
So they were parent-like figures.
They were parent-like
and you were figured out type of kid.
Yes. So we were like surprises, I guess you could say. Definitely my little sister. She was like a whoa baby. So it's funny, but yeah, I had a lot of guidance growing up, you could say. Not that I ever listened, but it was there.
Well, older siblings are more respected than parents in a lot of situations.
Yes.
So parents tell you what to do and you're like, but a sibling goes, damn, you're like, well, she knows something.
Yeah. It's more of, they were nice guide. They were like guiding spirits to have, which was nice. So yeah, I grew up there. So technically the 2 older ones didn't live with us. So it was the 3 of us in the house.
So it was much older, like 15, 20 years.
Yes. So between the youngest and the oldest, there's almost a 21-year age gap. So big age gap in the kids.
Parents are active.
Yes, very active. Absolutely. The 2 older ones do have different moms. So that's like,
we're all very active nowadays. It seems like this seems like the motif of today.
It is. It's fast paced. Everything's fast moving. So lots of babies, but
lots of babies, or avoid them if you can.
Sometimes, yeah. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. So
to avoid babies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We came to presentation hell, so there'll be no babies coming out.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it was great growing up there. I had a wonderful childhood, lots of fun, lots of great friends. I went to East Spalding High School, which was a very it was a fun school to go to. I was very, very involved there. And so I think
What's your favorite memory from high school?
my friends, just the friendships that I made.
One
And
specific event with one friend who held your hair back as you puked in the back wood after a party.
You know,
come on.
Favorite memories. So I was in this club called DECA, and it was a marketing
It's a marketing
club,
group. Yes.
and I absolutely those are like some of the fondest memories that I have. I mean, prom was fun. I was on homecoming court like 3 years, which was always like an honor to do that. I was class president a couple of years.
You were annoying is what you were. You were the person, you were like, oh, Grace is coming tonight.
I totally was not, because I was both ends of the spectrum. So I was like all those things, but I also loved to like have fun and, you know, get in trouble. So it was like both ends of the spectrum for me. And I had like two paths. So I'm really glad that I took the better half. That's why I'm sitting here today and not in jail probably. So I'm really
so these are the tracks. You were on both sides of the tracks.
Absolutely.
And when you realized the train was coming, you moved to one that led you to the place that you're at right now.
Absolutely.
And you're happy about that.
And I'm so happy about that. And I think the reason for that was education, which sounds like so kind of cliche, but it's like so true. I graduated from high school. I really, really wanted to go to a big college. I don't test well. I mean, I made okay grades. I graduated from the University of Georgia.
Okay.
But I would have never gotten in as a freshman. I did not do well in the SAT. I was an AB student, but I didn't go above and beyond in like grade and middle, and
things came easy to you.
Absolutely. And I was more interested in going to the football games and going here and going there than I was in studying. Like so those kind of things, the easy classes came easy. I didn't have to work very hard because I was so involved, and that was what I was interested in. But then when I graduated high school, all my friends went away to school.
So hang on for a moment there. She didn't work very hard, but you were involved in everything.
Yes.
So what that means is you enjoyed what you were doing, and therefore that led through.
Yes.
Because if you didn't enjoy it, you would have worked very hard at it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
you didn't see that, all that effort you put forth, you didn't see it as working hard because it was what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I'm giving this as a little foundational thing, because if someone's growing up and sees what's going on and wants to work for a big media company, that's a good core value component.
Absolutely.
And I'm just digging it out.
Keep going. And absolutely. I mean, you definitely need that. You need to be able to have fun and be like versatile and always, doing different things to be able to do something like I do, because there's so many moving parts. So I think having that foundation of always being in so many different clubs and different sports. I played 3 sports in high school. It was,
Jesus, I would have hated you.
Yeah, it was nonstop. Plenty of people did, I'm sure, but yeah. And so I think education kind of bridged that gap for me. When all my friends left,
when you say education, make it more simple.
Just
college.
When
is it the experience of college? Was it the books of college? Was it the social component of college? Was it the what are the components that you feel were the foundational pieces of that?
I think the social aspect really helped. I mean, I had a lot of fun in college. Obviously, I went to the University of Georgia. How can you not have fun in Athens? Go Dogs. So, but also I just learning how to push myself, because that was the first time, college was the first time I really had to study. It no longer came like easy. I no longer could just go into first period and take a test and do okay. Like I really had to hone in, buckle down and learn the content, because I wasn't going to pass the classes. And I knew that I wanted to go to Georgia. So I started at community college. I did 2 years there, did very well there, and then got into Georgia. Went to the University of Georgia, and that was where the real challenge really set in, because it's hard. Like it is a hard school. So, and I'm a risk management major, which is so funny that I'm in sales now, and especially in media sales, it's totally different from what my background is in.
Well, media sales, you're creating risk.
Yes.
Just saying, oh, we're going to have an event and someone's going to be in a hot air balloon going above that's, you might get that.
Yeah. So it's nice to have my background a little bit, just in case something goes terribly wrong.
Okay. Keep
going.
And
it's nice for when I'm reading my benefits, just do the open enrollment, so I know what I'm checking off. So it's a nice background to have.
Holy gosh.
It's a nice background to have.
Mhm.
But just that time was special to me, and I met a lot of great people. And I think doing that, having that background and going into my first job that I, by the way, like totally just, I felt like I failed miserably at. I was not.
So I see a roller coaster here.
Yeah.
I don't see a steady rise of you. There was a bit of humility in that
Yes.
Community college experience.
Sure.
As you said, a lot of your friends disappeared and went
Mhm.
away, and this is kind of cliche, but the president of the high school who ran everything and was on every team and everyone loved, suddenly high school ended, and
Yeah,
their
nothing.
kingdom, their queendom, whatever you wanted to call it, is
Mhm.
suddenly gone.
Yeah.
And you're at the bottom working up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was hard. It was very hard for me, and I didn't really adjust well at first.
Did you lash out at all?
Absolutely. I was a total brat. Absolutely.
I
And
could see that. A pain in the freaking pain.
I was a real pain to everyone around.
So why are you nice now?
I think things.
The humility of being okay. You're now at the bottom.
Yeah. And I went through like a lot of different trials and tribulations, especially in those 2 years. I wasn't living at home, and I had moved out, and that did not go well. And it I was
you moved out, the king of the world, and suddenly
house,
suddenly you had bills.
I had bills, and I had to work, and if I wanted something, I didn't get to ask. I had to get it on my own.
You don't have to move to this. I'm just moving it because it's turning a little bit. So,
but yeah,
you're in a good spot talking.
Okay, good. It was a good learning experience, and having to balance not only school but now work. So that was the first time I had work-life balance. And
so you went to school and paid for it with your own work.
Everything, yes.
And by the way, that creates an ethic that makes a difference in this world.
Yes.
Huge difference.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really credit my parents for, is that I was never spoiled. Of course,
you were like the mistake 20 years later. Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ, she's drinking out of the dog dish. Yeah. Oh, I changed it this morning. Don't worry.
Whatever. By that point, they're like, we don't even care anymore.
That's right.
I was a little bit. I required a bit more of attention because I was, like you said, lashing out. I was quite the problem child, so I required a bit more of attention. The younger one, poor thing. I mean, they were like done with it by the time she was in
and what is she doing?
Middle school. So she's actually still in college. She is a theater major. So she is more on the drama artistic side. She has a absolutely angelic voice. So she can sing really well. You
can give her name.
Her name's Anna Wooley. She's a student at Kennesaw State University, and she is incredibly talented. So if anyone out here is watching that does anything in film or in shows, then please reach out and I will get you connected.
See, that was a nice ad.
Yeah.
That was good. So now that you've gotten out of school, you've learned your work ethic, you've understand that nothing comes for free. And no matter how high you are on your horse, you can be down in the dumps in the mud thereafter. Because if you haven't seen a shitty day, you don't know what a beautiful sunshine looks like.
Absolutely.
Now, you've gotten through school. Mm-hmm. What type of job did you get? Risk management. That's like, all the things you've done. It's like, I'm going to go do the boringest thing I can do. Let's go be an accountant. I'm going to, it was boring. It's like you were trying to find yourself and just didn't know where to look.
And that's exactly what it was. I got the first job. So the first job I applied for out of college, I got the job, and I just took it. I didn't want to look anymore. And by the time that 4 years was over, I was so exhausted because I had worked. I'd gotten through COVID, and that was hard because I was in service industry. Mm-hmm. So at one point in college, I was working 3 jobs at 2 different restaurants and a bar. So I was working really, really hard. So by the time graduation rolled around, I was just so tired. And this is so bad that I'm admitting this on air, but I picked the first job that I got because they were going to give me the summer off, and I was going to be able to start in August. And all I wanted.
Now I know. See, right? I picked that one up right off the bat.
All I wanted was just 2 months of solitude that I didn't have school and work. I was like, I just need a break, a rest. I was so exhausted from spinning the wheels. And
you're freaking 21 years old. You shouldn't be so exhausted.
I was exhausted. I was more exhausted then. Like I have energy now. Like I think my job fuels me. Like the creativity of it fuels me. There was nothing really fueling me then.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just tired and I needed that break. So the reason I really took that job, it was in insurance. It was a referral,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew the man who referred me. So
She took the safe way out.
I took the safe way out totally, which that obviously never plays out well for anyone because it was not what I was meant to be doing. I was remote
You didn't
and
know what you were meant to be doing. That's
no,
the whole thing. People don't know, and many people just fall into a job, and then 10 years later, they're like, "This is what
this
I
is
do."
terrible. Yeah.
You
And
know.
I didn't, and I knew like in the first probably month, I was like, this
So
isn't
how long
it.
did you stay there?
I was
The
there a
place sucked.
year. I
A
was a
year.
year.
So you sucked for a year.
Yeah, because I didn't want to not see it out. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like leaving early would look and be it was wrong. Like I picked the job. I was the one who didn't do.
Conviction, tenacity, follow through. These are all components that are necessary to make it through. I'm just reading into what you're
Yeah.
saying and the pieces that go into it. You're a bit of a rebel. You're probably a pain in the freaking ass sometimes.
Absolutely.
But now it leads up to you're at a point where you're at this boring ass job.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you end up why'd you come to Tampa? Was it the job? Was it what made that how did this happen? Bring us to today and who you are and what you're doing.
Sure. So I went through kind of a bad breakup right out of college. And I didn't, that whole year that I was working in insurance and at home, I was just miserable. And I, I had no identity and I didn't really know like what I wanted to do or where I wanted to turn. And I was just so depressed and sad and down. And I just felt like, well, my life is over because this person's no longer in my life.
Life
Yeah.
is over.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is
Like
embarrassing admitting it now,
get
but
on a freaking boat and come back in a day or two and all that stuff will change.
Right, exactly. And so I knew I needed to make a change. I
Mhm.
just knew that staying at home wasn't going to work. My parents told us, we're getting a divorce. So it was like all these huge life changes happened within
Mhm.
that year. And I no longer felt like comfortable at home. I just knew that something had to change if I was going to be happy because I was literally miserable in my job, miserable in my family, miserable in my personal life, miserable in my romantic life. And it was like, something's got to give.
Misery creates a sunny day.
And that it did.
Okay.
And that it did.
And Tampa is your sunny day.
Tampa is my always sunny day.
So how long have you been here? How long have you been working at the TV station? Is that why you came here? I'm going to guess. No,
it's not. So one of my best girlfriends from college, actually, she's a year younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was participating in my year of misery, she was finishing her senior year of
Did you
college.
ever call it the year of misery before this moment?
No, but that's exactly what it is. It was the year of dumps and misery. And so while I was within that mess, she was completing her senior year of college. So she decided that she wanted right out of college to move to Tampa. And I don't know, still to this day, Elizabeth, I don't know why you chose Tampa, but
I do, by the way. I do, and you have a lot of wisdom.
Yes, absolutely. And she got a great job and moved right down here. Like I think 2 weeks after she graduated.
She did
college.
it to save your life.
She
by
did,
the way.
And that's exactly. And I credit her with all of that. And so she moved down here. I want to say it was May or July when she moved. And then I talked to her. She knew what like everything that was going on in my life. And then we talked on the phone one day in July. And I told her, I was like, I'm just so miserable, blah, blah, same conversation. And she is a realist. Like she's not
a misery loves company. And I'm going to commiserate and bring your happy ass down to my level and let you bring me down. And everyone sucks from there on out.
No, that is not the person she is. She is a very strong.
Told you she saved you.
She did. And she was just like, well, basically like, what are you going to do about it? Like, why don't you come down here? Look at Tampa. Like, see, you might like it down here. And we are very close. And she was like, you would love it down here.
Is she your roommate right now?
She's not actually. So, because she was down here before. So she's already had a place and a cute, adorable little place down in like Port Tampa area. And so so she's like, come down to see me, come down to visit. So I booked a flight down here with another one of my girlfriends from home. We came down to visit. And while I was here, I was so happy. I loved it so much. I signed a lease that weekend that I was here.
See, isn't that awesome?
So I knew as soon as I landed, it was like this gloomy cloud just
evaporated.
Opened. And it was like, I like knew, and I don't know if
the
that
clouds
was,
of adversity kind of cleared up and they went away, and you saw Tampa and the lights came, and you said, "This is it.
This is it.
Time to turn the
Time
page."
to go.
And it allows you to start. Here, I'm going to ask a little question about this. I know, or not I know, but like when you do big changes in your life, like leave high school to go to college, leave college to go to another city, go to another place where no one knows you, you adopt a new ego. Almost an identity is different, and you in some ways take stock of your own personality traits, and you try to wean the ones that weren't liked so much. Let's leave that on the line.
Leave it.
I'm liked a lot when I talk too much, so I'm going to talk too much. Or things that I've done that drawed people together that made me liked, I'm going to make those more part of my personality, make me a better James coming into it. Did you experience any of that?
I did. I was a completely new person, I think. So once I signed the lease here, and then I got down here maybe a month later, I put in a month notice at my company, and the way that insurance works is you have a license. So I had a license. My resident license was in Georgia. So I could not bind coverage outside state lines. So I couldn't even really bring my job down here anyway. And I could have and not told anybody.
So you came without the job. You were just like,
I came without
the
job.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance. And I know how that looks. That does not look good when you're.
She's going to elope one day.
I've thought that.
I know.
I've thought about that. If I'm going to do it, it'll probably be in Vegas in a little chapel. But yes.
A few hours left in the day.
Right? So, yeah. They're out of St. Pete. They fly direct out of St. Pete.
It's only 5 hours. Very simple flight.
That's an easy one. I'm used to an hour, but I can get with an hour or 5. So
I could wait that long.
I could. So where was I at? I don't remember.
You were ready to elope.
I was ready to elope, and
well, you came down here. You signed the lease. You were all in there. You were ready to go.
I'm ready
you had
to go.
Getting rid of your license.
No job, but I had saved some money because I lived home. So I had that
self-control to save money. Yes. Most people don't have that, especially at a young age.
And that is one thing about me. I'm very good with managing money. I'm good with saving. I don't know why, but I've always, since I was 18, I've had a financial advisor. So I've always been very serious about my future and about money and the security of my future. Anyway, side note. So I moved down here without a job, and just as soon as I got here, I started networking. Any person that would talk to me that was even the slightest bit, I've kind of looked at age as wisdom. So that was the slightest bit older than me. I would give them the elevator pitch. Like, I'm a recent graduate of the University of Georgia. I have a background in insurance, but I want to be in sales. That was my whole thing. I knew that
by doing the pitch, you're in sales. By the way, just by doing that, you're already showing that.
Yes. And anyone that would listen. I went on interviews, and I did a few interviews, and I talked with a few people in insurance, and I just knew, I'm like, it was something that was just, it wasn't right. So I met someone down here who owns an advertising agency, and I gave him the pitch, like, if you know of anyone. And I think, of course, he's like, whatever. He probably gets this all the time.
Like, another one coming through.
Whatever. Send me your resume. So
you have my email, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, what's your email? What's your number? I was very like, I need to, I'm serious about
You're
this.
Tenacious. I get it. You look at, you say, I want this, and that's where you want.
And that's where I want to be.
Whether it's good or bad for you, you're still going that direction.
I'm going to get it. Yeah. Regardless of, if it's good or bad. So I sent everything over to him, and he emailed me back and said, they want to meet with you. So
who's they?
My now boss.
So you went to someone you met who had an ad agency. Ad agencies facilitate the sales through media companies. Yes. He knew a media company, which happened to be WFLA, and they needed an account executive, and you had the ability to do it. Whoever sat in front of you saw the same things that I see right now, and that I've been telling you, and said, all right, bring her in. Is she going to be here tomorrow? Does she need to pay rent this month?
Yep.
So she'll be here at the end of the month.
Here. I'm like, I'll be there 30 minutes early, waiting downstairs in the lobby.
So you've been doing this for a year now?
I've been almost a year. So it'll be a year I started December 31st. So it'll be a year,
So it's
December
this year.
31st.
That's
It's
excellent.
this year.
Congratulations. All the things
Thank
you
you.
did are very commendable,
Thank you.
very respectable. I appreciate that. I
Thank
think
you.
it's wonderful.
Thank
Take
you.
a moment, tell the audience again who you are, what you do, how they can reach you, and sell yourself.
Yeah.
Sell the company.
Hi, everyone. My name's Grace Wooley. I work for WFLA News Channel 8, and I'm in advertising sales. We work with small to large businesses. We work with any different organizations that is looking to expand their client base or looking to advertise in the market. So whether you're here or you're 4 states away or you're back in my home state of Georgia, we can do that through digital marketing. We can do that through on air. So if you are looking to grow your revenue and grow your business, then I am the gal that you want to call. Feel free to message me on LinkedIn or message me on Instagram, and I would love to help. Thank you.
Grace, thank you for coming in today.
Thank
It's been a
you.
wonderful discussion.
Thank you so
And
much.
it's wonderful.
Thank
Thank you all
you.
for listening today at the Presentation Hell podcast. I'm your host, James Ontra. Thank you.
Thank you.